There's a lot of conversation right now about immigration, immigrants, about borders, about laws, about us and them and ICE. And I want I want to say this clearly from the start because I don't want to be misunderstood. But I believe law and order matters. I believe that nations have the right and responsibility to uphold their laws. I believe I believe order is a good gift from God, not some kind of necessary evil. But I'm increasingly concerned with how quickly those conversations slide into something else, something something darker, something that stops seeing people as people. When entire people groups, when entire groups of human beings are spoken about in a way that treats them like problems to be solved and instead of neighbors to be loved, something has gone off the rails. Especially when professing Christians start speaking this way. As Christians, we need to be honest about that. The Bible is not allergic to law and order. God is not a God of chaos. Scripture speaks clearly about governing authorities, about order, about obedience to the structure God has put in place. Law restrains evil. Law protects the vulnerable. It creates space for life to flourish. So this isn't a call to lawlessness. It's not a denial of borders or governments or even consequences. You can affirm the importance of law without hardening your heart toward people. And that tension matters because the moment we treat compassion as weakness or obedience as cruelty, we've set up a false choice that the Bible never gives us. Here's where I think the pendulum has swung too far. It's not just disagreement about policy anymore. It's not just a debate about what's effective or fair. It's the way entire people groups are spoken about and treated. When language starts sounding like they're all criminals or they're parasites, they're an invasion, they're less deserving of dignity, whatever it is, we need to stop and ask ourselves a hard question. Would I speak this way if the person were standing in front of me? If they had a name, if they had a face, if they were holding a child? And maybe some of you would, and that's a problem in itself. But I ask those things because Christianity doesn't allow us to flatten human beings into categories. Every single person you'll ever meet bears the image of God. Not some of it, not a reduced version of it, but all of it. And the image of God doesn't disappear because someone crossed a border illegally. It doesn't disappear because of paperwork or disappear because of fear you may have. That doesn't erase the law, but it absolutely shapes how we talk about people, how we treat them. Look at how Jesus consistently treats people who are considered outsiders. The Samaritan, the tax collector, the foreigner, the sinner everyone else had already written off. Jesus never denied reality. He never pretended sin wasn't sin. He never called disorder good. But he also never dehumanized. He didn't lead with contempt. He didn't reduce people to their worst moment. He didn't talk about them like they were disposable. He saw people. And that's the heart of Christianity. not sentimental niceness, but embodied love rooted in truth. And here's the deeper layer we can't ignore. The gospel tells us something deeply humbling about ourselves. Before Christ, we weren't just lost. We were outsiders, strangers. We were brought in not because we earned anything, but because of grace. That doesn't mean nations have no borders. I'm not saying that. It means that Christians don't get to forget where we came from. We were welcomed when we didn't deserve it. We were shown mercy when we had nothing to offer. That reality should soften us, not harden us. It should make us careful with our words, careful with our assumptions, careful not to let fear turn into hatred. So here's what I'm asking, especially of Christians. Hold to the law, respect order, and care about justice. But don't lose your love for people in the process. Don't let your theology of government override your theology of the image of God. Don't let fear reshape your heart more than the gospel has. You can disagree strongly about policy, about whatever viewpoint you want to talk about. You can disagree about those things, but you can still speak with dignity. You can support borders without treating immigrants as enemies. And you can be firm without being cruel. And if our tone, our language, or our posture toward entire groups of people would make Christ unrecognizable, then something needs to be recalibrated. The gospel doesn't erase law. It humanizes us. And that matters more than we think. Thanks so much for listening, guys. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was edifying and gave you something to think about. I'm saddened to see the way this topic has been spoken about, even amongst Christians. I think it's extremely disappointing. And I felt like it was important to say. Not that I'm anyone of importance, but I just feel like we need to be showing more empathy. And so whatever I can do to talk about that and hopefully encourage people or convict people, that's what I was aiming for. So weird times, but do me a favor and hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you don't know, I actually just started a Substack where there's exclusive content that's only shared on Substack. I do a 3 to 5 minute podcast every Monday and Friday to open and close the week with some Christ-centered gospel encouragement. And I also have a 10-week story that I'm dropping a chapter every Thursday on there. And I think it's extremely relatable for a lot of us who struggle with doubt, who are anxious Christians. And it's a story about a kid named Eli who is on this journey from spiritual anxiety and trusting in his effort and his performance. And it's a journey of him finding hope and rest in the finished work of Christ. And I wrote it months ago and have been working on putting a Substack together, just didn't get around to it, but the link will be in the description. And it's as simple as the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And so I wanted to make it low entry, low barrier to entry. So I hope that you will, if you do decide to subscribe, that you let me know what you think about the content on there, and I hope you find it encouraging. And I'm excited to pump out more resources for my followers, my listeners, and hope that we can all, just one day at a time, find more rest in the finished work of Christ. And in doing so, we can take our eyes off of ourselves and put them on our neighbor. That's my goal. So that's all I got for you. It's Sunday. I'm recording this, so I'll probably get this out Monday morning. And I hope you guys have a great week. And that's all I got for you. Grace and peace.